schools over there. And early one morning, a missionary got up and he was walking around the school. Now they had a big, high, strong fence all the way around the school to keep out the elephants and the hyenas and animals that would come in and hurt people. And they had gardens there, so it was a big fence, big compound. And it was early in the morning. As he was walking around, he came to the gate. And outside the gate was standing a little girl. Now, her name was Mimi. You know what Mimi means over in Bangladesh? Kitty. So when you go to call the kitty, you don't say, yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. You say, Mimi, Mimi, Mimi. And they call this little girl Mimi. Kitty, all right? And she had come there to go to school because they had heard that the Christian school was a good school. Well, when the missionary came there and looked out there, he saw Mimi standing there. And though Mimi was a sweet little girl, she had never in all of her life ever had a bath. Oh my, she was so dirty. I mean, her hair was dirty, her face was dirty, her neck was dirty, her hands were dirty, her arms were dirty, her shoulders were dirty, her tummy was dirty, and her feet and her legs, oh, they were so dirty you could hardly see her skin. But not only that, but she had a dirty little string with a dirty little penny on a string hanging through a hole in her nose. And on each ear she had a hole in each ear and a dirty little string through it, and there's a dirty little penny hanging on those strings. And around her neck she had a dirty little string with a dirty little penny on it, and around each wrist she had a dirty little string with a dirty little penny, and around her tummy she had a dirty little string with a dirty little penny, and around each ankle she had a dirty little string with a dirty little penny on it. And as the missionary looked at her, he said, "What's your name, little girl?" And she said, "My name is..." Is your name Mimi?
No.
But you remember, didn't you? "My name is Mimi." And so he said, "Mimi, I'm curious." And he didn't say that it was dirty, but he said, "Why do you have that string with a penny on it in a hole in your nose?" "Oh," Mimi said, "that's so the devils can't get up inside my head and give me a headache." "Oh," said the missionary. "Well, why do you have the strings with the pennies in the hole in your ear?" "Oh," she said, "that's so the devils can't get in my ears and give me an earache." "Oh," said the missionary. "Well, why do you have that string with a penny on it around your neck?" "Well," she says, "that's so the devils can't get down through my mouth and give me a tummy ache." "Oh," said the missionary. "Well, why do you have the string with the penny on it around your tummy for?" "Well," she says, "that's if they do get down there, they can't give me a tummy ache because I got the devil charm down there." "Well," he said, "why do you have those strings with the penny around your wrist?" "Well," she said, "that's so the devils can't make me do naughty things with my hands." "Oh," said the missionary. Then he said, "Well, why do you have those strings with the pennies around your ankles for?" "Well," said Mimi, "that's so the devils can't trip me when I'm running along." And you know what the missionary said? "Do you see all the fence posts in the fence? They were all painted white. And there were a lot of them. And the gate was kind of on a hill, so you could look down and see the big fence all the way around the middle." And he says, "Do you see all the white fence posts around our..." "Yes," said Mimi. Well, the missionary said, "We have more good angels around our mission school than there are fence posts in the fence, and not any devils can get in here." And she said, "Well, I have come to go to school because I want to learn about Jesus." So the missionary brought her in, and he took her over to the house where the girls lived. And some of the big girls came down, and they befriended Mimi, and they took her in. And you know what was the first thing they did? They said, "You don't need those." And they gave Mimi a pair of scissors. And you know what Mimi did with those little scissors? She cut off the dirty little string, the dirty little penny that was on her nose. And she cut off the dirty little strings, the dirty little pennies that were hanging in her ears. And she cut off the dirty little string, the dirty little pennies around her neck. And she cut off the dirty little string of dirty little pennies around her stomach. And then she cut off the dirty little string of dirty little pennies around each wrist. And then she cut off the dirty little strings and dirty little pennies around her ankles. And she put them in a box and shoved it under the bed. And then the big girls gave her her first bath. And they washed her hair. And they washed her face. And they washed her ears. And but they just washed her all over. And then because of the kids here in America had sent some money and some clothes. They gave Mimi some brand new clothes that were so clean. And when she came back and saw the missionary looked at her and he said, "Who is this pretty little girl?" And she had this big old smile because she brushed her teeth too. And she says, "Well, I'm Mimi. You know me?" "Oh," he said, "I could hardly recognize you. You look so nice." Because they put her hair up. And Mimi went to school there. And she learned to sing the song we just sang, "Jesus loves me, this I know." And she learned to sing, "Jesus loved the little children of the world, red and yellow, black and white, all are precious sinners." And she learned all kinds of things. And she just loved singing about Jesus. And she got to know Jesus. And she loved Jesus. And she says, "I want to belong to Jesus." And so she was baptized. Well, one day, the missionary came into the schoolroom where Mimi was, and there were 40, 50 kids in there. And he says, "How many of you kids would like to go riding the boat up to Mimi's village?" "I do, I do, I do." They all want to go. He had a big boat. So he and some of the teachers took the kids down, and he got in the boat, and he pulled the rope, and the boat started up there, all the way up to Mimi's village. And when they got up there, there was a little dock there, and the missionary pulled up the dock and careful tied the boat, and the kids got out and they started walking up the trail to Mimi's village, which is only about 2 blocks away, back a little ways from the river. And as they walked up the hill, they were singing, "Jesus loves me, this I know." And when they got up to the village, you know what they found? Everybody was gone. Now they weren't really gone, but they never heard music like that, and they were afraid. They thought, "What's that? What's that? What's coming? What's coming?" And so, but the missionary wasn't worried. He knew what to do. So he got the kids all in the middle of the village, and nobody was there. And he just had them start singing, "Jesus loves me," and all the songs that they had sung. And one by one, people would poke their heads out of their houses and say, "What's that beautiful music?" And out in the jungle, people were poking their heads from around the trees thinking, "What's that beautiful music?" And one by one, they started coming closer because they had never heard singing like that. And pretty soon all the people came and they were watching those kids. And then Mimi's grandma said to the missionary, "Who are these wonderful, beautiful children? Are these angels from heaven that you tell us about?" "No," said the missionary. "Some of these your own children." And he grabbed Mimi by the hand, took her right up, and he says, "Don't you know your own Mimi?" And Mimi's grandma looked her right in the face. And she said, "Mimi never had clean hair like that. And Mimi never had clean face like that. And Mimi was never clean like that. She never had clean clothes like that." But then Mimi smiled and said, "Grandma, don't you know me?" And Grandma got a great big smile. She only had 2 teeth left, one on the top, one on the bottom. But she showed those teeth, and she says, it is Mimi." And then the missionary trains the children, and they went with each person to their house, and the children were telling stories about Jesus, and Mimi went with her grandma. And Mimi had in her hand a box. And you know what was in that box? What was in the box? The dirty little strings with the dirty little pennies in it. And the missionary followed along behind, and when they got there, he heard Mimi say to her grandma, "Grandma, I've given my heart to Jesus, and I don't need these devil charms anymore because there are more good angels than there are trees in the forest. And they watch after me now." And you know what Mimi and her grandma did? They took a little shovel that they had, and they went out in the jungle, and they dug a hole, and they buried all those devil charms. And Mimi never wore them again. Do you know why? Because she'd given her heart to Jesus. And Jesus sent the angels to watch over her. Have you given your heart to Jesus? He'll send these angels to watch over you, just like he did with Mimi. Now, how many know the song?